Welcome to WO50 Women Over 50 Embody Wisdom and Wellness.
Hello, everybody. My name is Corinne, and I'm here with my BFF of many, many years, Eddi. Today, Dr. Eddi, because she's going to share with us all kinds of things about sugar. Our topic is sweet deception, the bitter reality of sugar and aging.
Yeah, food is a form of healthcare. Like we got to look at what we're eating. We shared some dessert ideas, the lowdown on sugar, where it is, where it's hidden, a little briefing on how our chocolate, our Twizzlers and Snickers and Butterfingers and all that has changed from the 1920s, 1950s, 1970s.
Yeah, you gotta listen to that. That was fascinating, actually. How the couple things that were ahas for me is that some milks like dairy cow's milk can have sugar. Mind blowing for me. I did not know that.
Yeah.
So we hope you enjoy it.
Bon appetit.
Hello, my BFF.
Hello, my BFF. What you doing today?
Oh, just enjoying the day. Just, getting ready to have a busy season. It's like, I feel like I've got things planned probably twice a month between now and April, like sort of bigger things, like everything from because we've got USA Thanksgiving is November. So that's, usually kicks off our, so I think Thanksgiving for you is before Halloween, which is always crazy in Canada. And that kicks off your holiday season, sort of, then Halloween and all that. But we've got like retreats and stuff too. And then we've got Eddi coming to Nashville in February and Mexico. Yay. So yeah. So anyways, just enjoying some space right now, sort of before that starts to come upon me, and just out in the yard. How about you?
Good, doing great. Life is full, just just every day embracing it. And the Halloween stuff got us all thinking about sugar, and I'm looking at labels. And I had the grandkids, over the weekend, and they had a little sleepover, and it was so much fun. And they wanted popcorn. And then I was like, no, it's too late for candy because candy has sugar. And we're talking about sugar. And I'm using every opportunity I can to get my message into these little
minds,
sponges,
little open sponges. Yes.
Amazing. They're amazing. Yeah. And getting them to create some different things, right? With healthy foods. And I don't want to deceive them, telling them, a lot about sugar. Like,
so are you going to talk to Dr. Eddi today about the bitter reality of sugar and aging, specifically?
The sweet deception. That's our title. Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about it.
Yeah. I remember years ago, what was that book? There was a book that said, or some study or studies that showed that sugar was as addictive as heroin in the brain, or reacts similar in the brain. What is it? Do you know that one?
Well, it all works with dopamine hits. So it's like, and more studies are out all the time, because now we know that everything gets involved. All the organs gets involved, the liver, the kidneys, the gut, now the brain. So we know, and we're measuring all the transmitters and neurotransmitters and the things that get fired up. And I love the kind of the new saying now with healthcare that, and I think Dr. Mark Hyman said this, that food is a form of healthcare.
Yeah.
It is. It's a form of it, because we have to become more aware of, about our food. We have to pay more attention. And people have to understand junk food is not food, it's junk.
Yeah.
And even the candy industry has changed, like with Halloween, like 1970s, 1920s, when they were making candy, I have two things in front of me where the ingredients, like just with a peanut butter or an almond joy, it was actually almonds, and you could pronounce the ingredients, sugar.
Yeah.
And now the ingredients, it's quadrupled. And the
Wow.
majority of them are chemicals or preservatives. And you're getting palm oils and these hydrogenated oils and high fructose corn syrup. This is a lot of stuff to go in and get the body to process. This is a lot of sugar. Like
Yeah.
this is all double the sugar. Like a little candy or a little mint or all of it has changed. So our
Mm.
food, is it's really important that we pay attention to the amount of sugar we actually take in because
Mm-hmm.
the brain is affected by it. There's some people that say it isn't, but there's a lot of people, and I see a lot of teachers in my office.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I said, take a look at all the kids' lunch boxes and come back and tell me, do you notice a change in behavior after lunch?
Mm.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They see
Yeah.
it. They see it
Yeah.
in themselves.
Yeah.
Sugar crashes or they get buzzed on sugar,
Yeah.
all these drinks that are loaded with sugar. Holy cow, man. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, it's too much sugar. So we got to work on lessening it and eating more real food, the
Yeah,
real
or like the
sugars.
glucose goddess, clothe your carbs. So if you're going to have dessert, and it's weird because even before, like years ago, when I was having some health challenges, some adrenal things, and I couldn't even do fruit at that time, couldn't do anything sweet. And as I was healing, I could do a little more sweet, but I always had to have my meal first. I couldn't just have a sweet on its own. And
Yeah.
that's what they say now is the healthy thing to do because
Yeah.
a sweet on its own is
Spikes
a
your blood
spikes.
sugar.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why like the hacking your health and keeping your blood sugar down is have a vegetable, have something
Hmm.
green, eat a little bit of avocado or celery or, broccoli before you eat the meal or the sweet or
Hmm.
because it keeps the blood sugar down. Yeah.
It just takes a habit to do. So it's easier for me now because it's just the ending of the garden season. So right now I have a plethora of peppers and they're super sweet. So it's really easy to grab one of my little orange peppers or two or three of them before I have, you know,
Hmm.
anything, right? Before I start eating
Yeah.
my meal, I'll just dip it in hummus or just eat it on its own. They're so good. They're just good to eat on their own. I'll do that
And they're
with
so
that or
high in
snap
vitamin.
peas.
Yeah, yeah, they're high in vitamin C. They
Yeah.
have more peppers have more vitamin C than oranges.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, isn't it something? Like we can
Wow.
get so much from our food and when you look at, what we eat on a day-to-day basis, we're not getting everything we need,
Yeah.
day to day. Especially children like and even over the age of 50, we have to start checking in more because our bodies need it and this is the whole point is like sugars age the body because sugars are inflammatory, right? They're
Mm.
acidic, they create inflammation. And what do all the diseases, the degenerative diseases like heart disease, diabetes, autoimmune,
Bone
allergies,
density. Bone
what
density?
inflammation?
Yeah.
All of
Yeah.
them, all of them are linked to inflammation. And
Right.
what is it that we're eating? Inflammatory foods. So
Right.
what do we need to eat more of? Anti-inflammatory foods.
Yeah.
And those are things like turmeric, ginger, even if you made, like I got my tea here now, and there's apple in it, there's turmeric, there's ginger, and the water. And I just let it sit. And then I sometimes want it a little sweeter. So I might add a pinch of monk fruit to it. And it's delicious. It's
Yeah.
hot. It's not loaded with caffeine.
Yeah.
It's in the evening. I don't want to
Yeah.
be buzzed. It's giving me nutrients.
Yeah.
I'm still getting some sweet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're
So
so
we have to
good.
pay attention to these,
Mm-hmm.
food's important.
So why is it? Because you've known me a long time and I do have a big sweet tooth. So why is it that in my mind, my body could handle sugar and the sweets that I used to eat when I was younger, and now I can't?
Because our digestive system changes, our hormones change. So this is why a lot of women are more affected by sugar because the metabolism changes, our whole microbiome changes. Um, we start craving things, our yeast imbalances in our gut. We start
Mm-hmm.
feeling the wear and tear of the body. Cholesterol
Mm-hmm.
starts to go up, which is,
Mm-hmm.
you know, measures inflammation. It regulates our other hormones. So this is why. Yeah.
Mm.
And that sweet tooth, you know, we can still have the sweet, but you want to kind of guide yourself towards something that actually has more medicinal properties in it. So if you're going
Mm-hmm.
to go for chocolate, why not dark chocolate? It's loaded with magnesium.
Mm-hmm.
It's start with 60% and work your way, because after a while you desensitize from that sugar craving. Like
Oh,
you
you
don't want
do.
the milk.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even people that put like lots of sugar in their, they have a Tim Hortons here in Canada, and they have like 4 and 4 and a 2 and 2 and a double double and a triple triple. And people come in and they go, "Oh yeah, can't wait to go to Tim's, get my double double and donut."
It's
That's a
is
lot of
that,
sugar.
oh my gosh, so that's double cream, double sugar, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And white sugar, not
Yeah.
monk fruit,
Yeah.
and these natural sugars like monk fruit, stevia, erythritol, they, they don't move your blood sugar around. They actually,
Mm-mm.
don't affect your glycemic index too much. They're
Yeah.
actually really good with helping even people who have diabetes, or
Yeah.
you know, uh, lessen the symptoms, right? The pain,
Yeah.
the inflammation. We can kind of lower the volume on it by just decreasing, it by 10 or 20%,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if we can do that, you'll see a big difference. And before you know it, sugar might only be 10% of your diet, not
Oh,
60.
jeez. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, all the hidden sugars, people are getting more sophisticated in reading labels and stuff. But if you look at, there's so many things. Oh, this is what ticked me off. I, I don't eat, I mean, who doesn't love a peanut butter pretzel? Right now,
Yeah,
you can't eat
yeah,
them because they have gluten, but there probably are
yeah.
gluten-free ones now.
Oh
And
yeah,
so they
there are.
have, yeah, so they have these almond butter ones at Trader Joe's. So I love almond butter. I love peanut butter, but almond butter is much better for you. So I bought these little, they're great for traveling because I love these little pretzels with the almond butter inside and with an apple. That'll be my driving snack, right? So I
Hmm.
get some salty, some sweet, some crunch. And I was like, God, these taste so sweet. What, I don't, peanut butter pretzels usually aren't sweet. And I look at the ingredients and there's freaking sugar in it.
Yeah.
And then Trader Joe's, and I love Trader Joe's, but then I had bought some nuts, and there was one like a everything, like a everything but the bagel flavor, that usually has garlic, onion, blah blah blah.
Hmm.
That everything but the bagel nuts, mixed nuts, and then they had another olive one, so it had some olives in it with mixed nuts, and both of them had sugar. I taste them like what, and I looked and there's sugar in them.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's wild. I mean, and the sugar that's in them makes you want more. It's like when you
Right?
go to a fast food restaurant. The reason people like a certain burger is the bun, it has a shitload of sugar in it.
Yeah,
Probably equal to the amount of flour that's in it, which is
yeah,
why people crave that bun. I
yeah.
mean, I remember years ago seeing a bun at McDonald's, and the bottom of it was melting because it was too close to the on the grill, and there was a lot of sugar in there, you know?
Wow.
And like even like I just pulled up, they had a from 1970s, okay, to now, a Reese's peanut butter cup, okay?
Yeah,
What was in it in the 70s? Sugar, peanuts, cocoa butter, milk, chocolate, salt. Okay?
pretty good.
Yep. What's in it now? Milk chocolate, sugar, cocoa butter, chocolate, skim milk, milk fat, lactose less than. On it goes. Polyretinol,
So
blah,
many
blah,
things.
blah, eaditidazole. It's unbelievable. Tertiary butyl hydroquinone and citric acid, dextrose salt, more sugar. And then there's peanuts. So the peanuts are at the bottom. The peanuts was the second ingredient in the 1970s.
Hmm.
If you can't read the words, even I'm having trouble reading words, your body doesn't know what to do with this
That's
stuff.
right. That's
So
right.
where does it go? It
Yeah.
causes inflammation.
Hmm.
The body's got to store it. It sticks in the bowel. It
Hmm.
raises some people's blood pressure, and it feeds the wrong organisms in the gut,
Hmm.
which makes you crave even more sugar. And
Hmm.
then one of those ingredients, I don't know, maybe one of those biome, the gut biome, those bacteria want to feed on that one. And that's why we crave certain things like Butterfingers or Big Turks or a Kit Kat or a certain milk
Hmm.
chocolate. And because chocolate, a lot of people love chocolate. I mean, it took me years to be able to tolerate it again.
Hmm.
I I'm really particular over when I taste it and eat it.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
There's lots of
Hmm.
really good stuff that I'm like,
Hmm.
"Eh, I don't like that."
Hmm.
And I won't touch the bad stuff. I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like,
Same here.
No.
Hershey's and Jersey milk, all those I can't, it has to be good quality. But you know what was helpful for me because I was definitely a milk chocolate girl for years. Like I didn't like chocolate when I was young. Then I started liking chocolate. Then I liked milk chocolate only because I didn't, and dark chocolate I stuck my nose up to. And then as I got older, I tried harder. And what helped me to transition from milk, and now milk chocolate's too sweet for me, which I never thought would ever be the case.
Yeah.
Like even a good Linder milk chocolate is like I can
Yeah.
only handle one, and one every 3 months is all I need. And
Yeah.
so what helps me is to have the dark chocolate with ginger, dark chocolate with almonds, dark chocolate with
Yeah.
raspberries. That helps me. It helps me a little bit to transition to the either a straight dark, but that's what I go for. Yeah.
Yeah, or even mix the two, like have the milk chocolate that you love, but then have a bit of dark chocolate with it. So you start to,
That won't work.
yeah, a lot of people that's worked in my office
It'd
because they're
have to be
not
at the
feeling,
same time. You'd have to do it at the
yes,
same time.
at the same
Yeah, put it in
time.
your mouth at the same time.
Yes,
Yes. Because
same
I was
time.
thinking, yeah, because if you do it separately, the contrast, but if you eat it at the same time,
Yeah.
I hear you. Yes,
Yeah,
I'm on
you
the
make
board
your
with
own
that.
little bowl. You break it
Yes,
up
yes,
together and make your own little bowl.
yes. Oh,
So
that's
it's like
cool.
even when you do your snack mix that you have a mix of
Yes.
nuts and seeds and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
trail mix and then
I'm on
throw in a
board
little
now.
bit of dried fruit. You're on a little bit of
Yes,
dark
I get it.
chocolate. Then you're like, ooh. And also when you have a little mix like that, it changes up kind of like the track, where
Yeah.
it's like people
Yeah.
eating chips and they go, how do
Yep.
I break that habit?
Yeah.
Put something else in the bowl
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, what was that I ate? The
Mm-hmm.
brain's involved, the gut's involved, and then before
Mm-hmm.
you
So
know it,
true. When's the last time you put something in your mouth and you thought it was one thing, but it was another thing? Like that's where that closed-eyed thing, that'd be a good thing to do on a retreat. Is like I like the slow eating thing, but even better is to not know what's going in your mouth and you
yeah,
don't know what to expect, and then you really experience it that way. Like
yeah,
it, because if you could think back to a time when that happened, like for me, I think about like being in Thailand, 30 years ago and eating a fruit that I'd never even seen or look, you have no idea, you have no reference to it,
yeah,
and it's a whole new experience. So you're
yeah,
so you're right. I'm thinking about what you're saying about your memories involved, your smell is involved, your eyes are involved, and we have preconceived ideas of what something will taste like.
yeah.
So I think of iced tea, like I love sweet iced tea, but it's for years now. I have putting stevia in it. So I always have my little stevia packets with me wherever I go. I
Hmm.
know I do. I can actually now drink both hot tea and cold tea without stevia. I prefer it with, but I can do it
Yeah.
without. But yeah, it's like you just change. You just make an
Yes.
effort to change because it's just what we get used to, and you can get used to anything.
Well, especially as we get older and we know we're damaging our body.
Yeah.
Like that's the thought is
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I don't want to damage it.
Yeah.
Everything, every thought I think, every bit of food I eat, it's
Mm.
making a difference in my body.
Hmm.
The people I'm around, like, we're trying to be less toxic. We're trying to treat ourselves well. We're trying to, hydrate our bodies.
Hmm.
And I know if I overdo it and on junk food, which I don't, I don't feel good. So it's easy for me not to,
Hmm.
not to overdo it with junk food. But a lot of people have issues with that. They're like, I
Hmm.
just, I'm so sad and and that's usually what happens. The worse we feel, the worse we eat. And then as soon
Mm.
as we change it, the better we feel, the better we eat.
Yeah. Yeah. Because Ayurveda always says, that you'll be drawn to the foods that you need unless you're out of balance. And when you're out of balance and you're not
Yeah.
listening, that's when you
Hmm.
crave those unhealthy things. You have those sugar cravings. Yeah,
Yeah.
you talk about that all the time. But it
And it's
has,
also, yeah, but it's also preparation. Like a lot of times when we're really working really hard, we're trying to stay well, we're trying to get our walk in, we're tending to our body and our mind, and then we want something sweet.
Mhm.
So preparation, it's like having
Yes.
your good little treats in the fridge or
Yep.
something you can go to, or
Or in the car.
yeah, or making a big batch of, I think you sent me this recipe of the pecans and walnuts, and then you shake them in a Ziploc bag with egg whites and monk fruit, and then you
Hmm.
bake them in the oven,
Hmm.
and you pull them out, let them cool, put them in a glass jar, and they're like candy,
Hmm.
and they're delicious. Like they're
Hmm.
so good.
Yeah.
So, and monk fruit is a great natural sweetener.
Hmm.
Stevia
Yeah.
Erythritol, Monkfruit, those sometimes you'll
Those are
find
the,
them all together.
mm-hmm,
But stay away from the diet stuff, the artificial Splenda,
mm-hmm,
Sucralose. They're garbage, they're toxic. They,
mm-hmm,
I truly feel they mess with our brains.
mm-hmm,
I listen to Dr. Hyman and Dr. Klaper, who
mm-hmm,
they're both MDs that are trying to move medicine forward by really talking nutrition, and they totally blast artificial sweeteners. Same
mm-hmm,
as me. I'm like, they have no purpose. They should not be on the
mm-hmm,
planet.
mm-hmm. And yet people they're so addicted to them.
Yeah,
And
because
they're
it
like, I
every
only do one packet a day or two packets a day, or, like what do you say to those people?
well, you're what are you putting in your body? These are chemicals. Like you wouldn't drink if you drained your sink and the garbage coming down from the sink that you drained out into the garbage bucket, you wouldn't drink that. So you're putting in chemicals that are going to contribute to cognitive decline, dementia, feed the wrong organisms in your gut. Like just work on getting them out of there
Mm-hmm,
because what you're wanting is something sweet.
mm-hmm,
So give yourself something sweet, but
mm-hmm,
that's healthy. Dip some strawberries in dark chocolate or make yourself the candied nuts or you know
mm-hmm,
use real stuff. Put a little
mm-hmm,
drop of honey in your tea or
mm-hmm,
on your tongue, a little bit of maple syrup.
mm-hmm,
You want something sweet, but as soon as we start getting into these artificial sweeteners,
mm-hmm,
we're lying to our body. That's not
mm-hmm.
sugar, you
It's
know.
chemicals.
It's
And
chemicals.
people like they'll get addicted to those flavors too. And they just have
Yes.
to bust out of that too because they can
Oh
get used to
yeah.
anything because that's like the complaint I hear. I don't like stevia has an aftertaste and erythritol tends to not have that can cause some belly problems, some gas for some people and
Mm-hmm.
cramping, but that's
Yeah.
usually in large amounts.
Yeah.
But there's always the choices. The monk fruit tends to
Mm-hmm.
be it's harder to cook with, but it tends to be I think a better flavor than stevia. It doesn't have the
Yeah.
aftertaste like stevia.
Mm-hmm.
But I find it more challenging to cook with, so I tend to use and my body does like stevia, so I'm
Yeah.
used to it. I'm used to it.
Yeah.
I'm I don't yeah.
And the reason erythritol has belly issues is because it has quite an extensive fermentation process. So that
Mm,
in some people's bellies, it's like if they drink kombucha or eat yogurt, things like that tend to
hmm.
upset their bellies.
Or
So
inulin too, same thing, right?
same
Inulin,
thing,
yeah,
yeah. Because
yeah.
inulin is another fiber product. It's kind of like inulin is in a lot of like bowel products like
Mm-hmm,
Benefiber, and
mm-hmm,
psyllium is in Metamucil. So they help.
mm-hmm,
The fibers are really good for the body because
mm-hmm,
fibers, I always say, it's like throwing a dog a bone in your gut.
mm-hmm.
It gives your organism something to chew on. So we do
Mm,
need the fibers.
nice, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's important. It's important.
Yeah,
And
as a sugaraholic, I mean I'm just so grateful you turned me on to stevia many like over 20 years ago and it's been my best friend ever since.
yeah, and people get addicted to sugar. It is a highly addictive
It is. I am one of
element,
those.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and most people on this planet, everybody loves something. We've always been taught sugar is a reward, it's a treat. It's ooh, I get something sweet at the end of my meal, or
Hmm.
the kids get a lollipop at the bank, or right,
Yeah.
and people go for soda, and soda is so
Yeah.
high in sugar, and
Oh,
then
and juices. Remember juices the years ago, orange
Yeah,
juice.
yeah. And Diet Pepsis and Diet Cokes, all these drinks, there's so many chemicals in them.
Hmm.
So, first of all, it's recognizing I don't want my bones to thin out. And these elements in diet sodas, you know, all
Hmm.
this they're robbing the calcium, the phosphorus exchange, like the nutrients. We're losing nutrients. We can't afford to do that after the age of 50.
Hmm.
So it's important that we know we have to fuel the body
Hmm.
properly. We
Hmm.
have to.
Hmm.
It's just, and some people go, eat whatever, eat what. Well, I can't. I don't want to. And in my office, the people that come see me, they want to learn how can I change it? What can
Hmm.
I do? What sugars are out there that are decent? Because
Hmm.
there's so much people read about that's
Mm-hmm.
false or not true, and
Mm-hmm.
it's challenging, yeah,
Yeah, it's
out there.
educating yourself. It's doing the research, seeing somebody like Eddie, you know, just yeah, learning more because certainly I think the World Health Organization, they're trying to catch up with everything, but they're a little slow. And that's what I feel like
Hmm.
is part of all of these things breaking down. Like in America, it would be the American Medical Association. There's just so many things that are breaking down and not working. Even in Canada, for that matter, it's
Hmm.
like the medical systems are not working as well. And I feel like that's so that we'll take responsibility for our own health and be more advocates for ourselves. Like one of the
Hmm.
things people complain about too is even looking like dealing with the health system when somebody or yourself is really ill. Like that's just as challenging almost as the illness itself. But again,
Yeah.
that's it's all the more reason to become more advocates for ourselves and learn and really understand how food is medicine and how
Hmm.
sugar um, really is evil for the body. It's really not good for the body at all. And we're not talking about natural sugars in fruits, although too
Hmm.
much of anything of that is not great either.
That's true, yeah.
But it is that white sugar that
Yeah.
is really, yeah, not
and
good.
and it's it's you know it's a challenge that you want to take on because you want to
Yeah,
start swapping out some stuff.
yeah.
What is it that you're grabbing each day? Is it a soda? Can you switch to a natural soda?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a certain type of chocolate? And then you look at all the ingredients, and
Mm-hmm.
like you see from Twizzlers from 1920s were 4 ingredients, and now there's 15, in
Right.
it. Like
I
why
didn't
have
know
they?
that.
Oh, I got a list here. I know Snickers 1950s was just all natural, like malted milk, eggs, chocolate, corn syrup, peanuts. Now it's artificial flavors, the peanuts, the eggs, tree nuts, sugar, lactose again, milk fat, syrup. I mean, on and on. It's like triple the ingredients,
Mm-hmm.
triple. Like and we have to limit our sugars, first try and do that. Then start to introduce what would be better in my tea or coffee. Well, if you can drink it plain, perfect. Use a nut milk, which has less sugars than cow milk and all the others, or just add a little bit of monk fruit. Do you like that? No. Stevia, you like that? No. Try the
Cow,
blends.
mm,
Yeah,
really, cow milk when I was doing keto is actually has less carbs.
has a lot of sugar. It has a fair bit of
No, it
sugar.
has less carbs, less.
Yeah, but a lot of sugar. We'll
But
get back to that
there's no
one.
sugar in milk.
Oh, yes, there is.
What?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah. This year they announced our a food guide that now there is half the sugar put into cow milk.
They
There is,
actually
yeah.
add it in because when like
Yes, when you
half and
homogenize,
stuff, there's no carbs in it. So how can there be sugar in it?
there's some sugar in certain milk products.
Okay, certain
Definitely.
milk. Okay. Yeah, so
Yep.
look at your labels because
Look at your labels.
yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
If
Because
you're
not
doing
all the
more,
nut milks are great either. Like there's
nope,
some that are better
they
than
can be
others.
high in sugar.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
like your safest one is coconut milk, really. If you're going for oat or almond or um oat milk, they're higher in sugar as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the fat and the sugar, I mean, that could be a whole other podcast about that.
Yeah, exactly. This is a never-ending topic, an important topic because it's hard like there's so much information out there. It's like even that why we question each other all the time because what do it's changed.
Yeah.
Like I had no idea in milk there would be sugar, and
Hmm.
probably I'm not
Oh, yeah.
alone in that. And so yeah, look at your labels
Hmm.
and see.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
if something says no added sugars, what does that mean?
Well, often there's no added sugars, but or sugar free. Really read the label because a lot of times they've added diet sugars or um, it
Like the
can
bad ones
the bad ones and no added sugars, natural sugars. Like read the labels because
hmm
it's it's a
can be
mixed
tricky.
messaging.
Yeah. Yeah, I know
on
I
our
learned years
labels.
ago natural flavors is not necessarily good for you. Like there's not natural and artificially flavored. There's
Yeah.
some technical thing in there that it's not necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, and that's a good point too, because like natural flavors, well, use your own natural flavor. Like
Yeah.
use
Put your own lemon.
watermelon and squeeze it
Yeah.
into your water. Use vanilla extract.
Yeah.
Use peppermint extract. You want more flavor because sometimes it's not the sweet. You're wanting the flavor,
Yeah.
right? Spices
Yeah.
and we balance out the sugar, sweet, bitter, astringent. We're trying to um
Hmm.
yeah, salty. Like the body wants a little bit of everything. So we're not taking sugar away. Just get cleaner with the sugar.
Hmm. Hmm.
Lower
Okay.
it. Know how much you're taking in. You
Hmm.
don't have to have it after every meal. It shouldn't start your day, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Savory breakfast, right?
Yeah.
What do you think? My breakfast, of course, I have my breakfast at noon because I've never been a breakfast person and I fast and stuff. And then I do love, but I try to keep it with berries that don't have as much sugar or pears that are really high in fiber
Hmm.
and my Greek yogurt. And then I'll put nuts, like quite a few nuts that I've soaked in it. And then I'll put my keto honey on it. So I make sure I have my nuts first to make sure I'm getting the fiber and the protein and then
Hmm.
have the berries with the yogurt and stuff too. Is that okay? That's not going to spike
That's
my
really
blood sugar in
good.
the morning. Okay.
Yeah, it's delicious, right? It's
It is
it's
very good.
great. It's a
Hmm.
good it's a good it's a good lunch. It's a good
Hmm.
brunch. It's a
Yeah, that's what
good
it is. It's my lunch brunch.
you're
Yeah.
breaking your fast, whatever we want to call it, breakfast to lunch fast. It's good. Even those chia bowls are nice too, like our nourish
Hmm.
bowls where people do up, a little
Hmm.
mix of chia seeds and
Hmm.
berries, and then they have granola mixed in, or I often use like dairy-free coconut yogurt. I love that, or coconut milk kefir. It's a little sweet, but not high in sugar.
Yeah.
So that's what we want. And our fruits are great. Like the berries are great for the body.
Hmm.
They're superfoods. So
Yeah. So they're
yeah,
okay. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Blueberries are
Mm.
powerful,
Hmm.
very
I
powerful.
mixed blueberries in with my pears today. I've been on a pear kick.
Apparently.
Oh, you. Oh, you, Eddie. So should we close with that? With a little bit
We
of laughter?
Yes, a little bit of laughter. Yeah, not like my sister. I remember years ago, I said, "You need to cut down on sugar." She said, "Just stop sucking the fun out of everything." So I'm
I
like,
could just see your
no,
sister saying that.
yeah, have your little bit of sugar, but not too much because we want to keep our brain. We want to, not destroy our gut and our bones and get infections and raise our inflammation and worsen, our diseases or impending genetics, whatever. We want to, live preventatively and just paying a little bit of attention, just a little bit to the sugar piece,
Yeah.
can make a huge difference in your life, in your health, in your overall well-being. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Sure does.
Yep.
All right, Ed. Great. Thank you so much for the information, Dr. Eddie.
You're welcome. Go have your milk.
Love
Kidding.
you.
Love you.